I look at these numbers. I have a stack of articles. I know you can't see them where you are, Mr. Trump. Today's USA Today. It quotes Karl Rove. I don't agree with his policies. He's not a conservative. He's only been a Republican for just a short period of time out of convenience. John Kasich is now running ads. We'll call it like the golden oldies of Donald Trump, things that he thinks you said that are controversial. You've got a group that has declared war on you, an establishment group with Liz Mayer and Rick Wilson, and they're planning on spending tons of money. But the bottom line is clearly you have now established yourself as the guy to beat. Now they're going to be spending the money. Now they've declared pretty much war against you, and the ads are coming. What is your answer to the battle that they have started?
Well, this is really a violation of the pledge. You know, the pledge was taken by me in all good faith, and this is a little bit of a violation, or a big part of a violation. As far as, you know, like a guy like Kasich, he's so far down in the polls, he's embarrassed. He's the governor of Ohio. I'm beating him in Ohio soundly in the polls, and I'm killing him. I think he's down to 2 now. I mean, I think he'll probably have to get out of the race. So this is just desperation for him. He probably doesn't want to do it, but he's got no choice. Karl Rove is a loser. I mean, Karl Rove has been hitting me for years now, and you know, he still thinks Mitt Romney won the election. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars on elections and didn't win one of them. And then last time, in order to get a couple of victories, he went to sure things. I think over the last year and a half, he went to sure elections because he had to get some victories under his belt with the money that he rips off from people. So Karl Rove has been a loser for a long time. The most important poll is also in the Fox poll, and you see it, that I'm beating Hillary Clinton very soundly.
You're beating Hillary Clinton in a head-to-head matchup. That's right.
Right.
So my question to you, though, is obviously the establishment's going to spend millions and millions now. I mean, you see the articles. I assume you're reading them. And I assume that there's going to be some response from you. What is it? And are you considering going third party? I mean, because that came up yesterday.
Let me put it this way. Look, you know, I love the Republican Party. Ronald Reagan was a Democrat also, and he went, you know, Republican and pretty conservative Republican. He was actually somewhat of a liberal Democrat, and he changed. And I was a Democrat at one point, and I became a Republican. I'm really following a very similar path, actually, and we have a lot of things in common, I can tell you that. But, you know, it wasn't the deal that I made. I made a deal, I made a pledge, and they're not treating me right when they do that. And all they do is, you know, they're trying to save themselves. They look very bad. They look very foolish. There are people, all the people that you mentioned look very, very foolish, and they're trying to save something out of it. But it's not a good thing. And it wasn't the deal I made. I have to be honest with you. It wasn't the deal I made with the RNC and Reince and the group. That wasn't what I did. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm very happy where I am. I'm leading by tremendous margins. And, you know, we just had the great Iowa poll. In New Hampshire, we're leading by tremendous. South Carolina, which you didn't mention, we're leading by a tremendous amount. And hopefully we can carry that on to the end, and I'll win the election. But, you know, I love the Republicans. I'm a conservative guy, and we'll see what happens.
All right. You made the deal with Reince. Are you happy with Reince previous? Are you happy with the RNC? Karl Rove is not a part of that. These other groups, establishment groups, money groups, are not a part of that. So are you going to hold Reince and the RNC responsible and threaten to go third party, even though he's not involved?
Well, I'm just going to look at it. He's a nice person. He's a nice man. We get along great. But, you know, I mean, there should be some semblance of order within the party. They've lost so many elections. Romney should have won the last election. Some bad things happened there, okay? Some really bad things. And he obviously didn't finish very well in the last month. I don't know what happened to him, but he certainly didn't finish very strong. That wouldn't happen with me. Believe me, we will win. That's why I'm doing it. I mean, I backed John McCain. And because of Karl Rove and what happened in that last, you know, few months with Bush, I mean, in all fairness, I don't blame McCain. He couldn't have won that election. What happened at the last few months of the Bush term, I mean, it was a disaster. Now, Romney should have won. That should have been won. Right, and I think Karl Rove still thinks that Romney won. You know, Karl Rove is going around saying, I think Romney won. I think Romney won. It took him like 3 days to realize that Romney didn't win. That should have been an election that was won, and it wasn't. I don't want to have that happen again. We have great potential in our country. Our country has tremendous potential. I always say the American dream is dead, but I'm going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. I'm not going to rely on anybody anymore. I mean, I backed both of them. And again, I don't blame McCain. that was an election that really would have been very hard to win because of what happened in the final months of the Bush administration. But I do blame Romney. He should have won that election. Something happened. He went away. He wasn't doing what he should have been doing. While Obama, say what you want, he was going on talk shows. He was on Jay Leno and Letterman. He was all over the place. Romney was like lost. And I don't want to have that happen again.
Well, I don't think the country can afford to lose again. I'm going to play you two ads.
They cannot afford it.
I agree. We can't afford it with foreign policy, and the economy's in shambles. Last question, I'm going to play you two ads. The DNC attacking Republicans. They say you're grouping all Muslims together, but they even quote you in the ad as saying, we have a problem with radical Muslims. They tend to bypass that, and I want to play your ad against Hillary laughing about Benghazi. Let's play them both.
Including FBI officials. Look.
Well, I don't know why that's funny.
We are at war with radical Islam.
Radical Islamic terrorism.
You do have a problem with radical Muslims.
Radical Islamic jihadists.
Radical Islamic terrorism.
How far in are you going to go in an ad war if millions and millions are being spent on you, against you?
Well, look, I built a great company. The company is amazing. It's, it's peanuts we're talking about. I'm going to spend whatever I have to spend. I'm going to spend what I need to spend. And, part of the reason that I'm doing so well is I have some of the great assets of the world. I have tremendous cash flows. When I filed my statements, everybody was amazed at the size of what I've been able to build. And that, frankly, is the reason I tell you that is that's the kind of thinking that our country needs, Sean. We need that kind of thinking. We owe now, if you look, $19 trillion. And we have nothing but problems. Obamacare is a disaster. It's got to be repealed and replaced. Our vets aren't taken care of. Our military isn't taken care of. We're falling way behind. We're the most unprepared now in the military than we've ever been in the history of our nation. Think of that. Said by General Orellana. That was by him. That wasn't by me. I watched him on one of the shows. I think it was on Fox, actually, believe it or not. And, we are in bad shape. And we can take this next election, but we have to be smart, and we do have to be unified. I'm a unifier, believe it or not. A lot of people would say I'm not. I'm a great unifier. I get along with people. And you watch what happens. We'll unify. But we have to unify as a party, because if we don't, I will tell you, we're going to have another loss. And you don't want to lose. You can't have another 4 years of a Hillary Clinton. That would be catastrophic. I will say this. If I get the nomination, I will beat Hillary Clinton.
All right, Mr. Trump, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us.